Oh, hey man, can you hear me?
Hello, hi Sid, how you doing?
Good man, good man. Right now we can finally get grooving. Okay, okay, all right. Let's start off with SA and India, man. Yeah, I know we had predicted India to kind of win the series because they had the better squad, but credit to South Africa for putting up a fight there with that limited resources with the bowling. I mean, they really did a lot better than what I expected them to do. Although, I mean, I didn't really mind much about the results because I was always more for the Test series, but yeah, man. Okay, so what are your thoughts, man, on the one-day series before we get to the exciting bit?
I mean, obviously the first game was an absolute disaster. At the Wanderers, I thought India bowled beautifully, especially Arshdeep. I mean, he was kind of unplayable on that pitch.
Yeah.
And then the second game in PE, they did come back beautifully.
Mm.
They came back beautifully in that game. I mean, if I look at the series 2-1, yeah, it's a series loss, but there have been some new faces that have stood up in this in the series set. And to be fair with you, I don't think the senior players that actually played the series did step up. The likes of Markham, the likes of Rassi, the likes of Klassen, the likes of Miller. We didn't see the best of them in the series. In fact, all of them, I would say, had poor series. All of them had poor series. But I mean, the one guy that stood out for me was Tony De Zossi. I mean,
Yeah.
what a player! What a player! I mean, he just oozes class. And, it seems like he's taken to international cricket like a fish to water. He seems like a natural at police. I mean, that innings at PE, I mean, India really bowled well in that first 10 overs, but I mean, the way he stuck it out there and got to his century was unbelievable. One of the best centuries I've seen. And I mean, in the third game as well, in Pal, he made 80 odd. He looked good as well until he went out to Arshdeep. That was actually good, beautiful delivery. So I mean, he looked good. He looked good throughout the series. And if I look at the series as a whole, yeah, I mean, the result is not really important. Let's be honest. The result is not really important at the moment because I mean, the ODI cycle has ended with the World Cup, and I think the main focus now is T20s and Test cricket. I mean, you would agree with me? I mean, the ODI cycle has ended, so I mean, there's plenty of time to come forward to the next, obviously, 50 over World Cup. So you've got a lot of time to prepare.
But they have the Champions Trophy also, so I'm sure, like the way India's playing, I mean, even if they get the Champions Trophy, it'll feel like a World Cup for them because, yeah, man, and they do need a proper cup, man. Fine, they won the Asia Cup, but that's pretty much nothing compared to the World Cup. At least the Champions Trophy is something closer to a World Cup. It's like the trial run World Cup kind of achievement, if that makes sense to you. Champions Trophy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, India are the best team in Asia by far, by a distance. I mean, by a country mile, they're the best team in Asia. So, I mean, them winning the Asia Cup was no surprise. But I mean, if you look at the way they played in the World Cup, they were the best side throughout. I mean, until the final when they had that hiccup and I mean the biggest game of the tournament. But I mean, we've already spoken about this, some time back and stuff. And I think we just need to put that one to bed. I think Australia was just the better side of the day, and tough luck to India. Tough luck to India, but that's
the Champions Trophy. I think that's in 2025. Oh yeah, I was right. It is in 2025. I think that's supposed to be in Pakistan, but there seems to be controversy on that because India love to go into Pakistan. So I bet you that's going to be probably moved to the UAE, I presume, which would make a lot more sense. But they'll probably do more day-nighters because the weather there is a bit extreme. So I think day-nighters might be the order of the day there. But okay, let's not digress. That was my fault. So we'll get to the Test series. 2 tests. This is India's final frontier. And this is probably the best chance for Kohli, Sharma, Bumrah, Jadeja. Probably their last chance, I think, of ever trying to win something in South Africa. I mean, they probably won the odd match, but to win the series is going to be... Do you think it's their best chance, considering time gone by? Or do you think India's had their best chance, but they always seem to goof it up? What's your theory, man?
I think it's a big series for both teams, eh? I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. I mean, Test cricket, December, summer. I mean, this is the highlight of the summer. I mean, Test cricket. And I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this first test to obviously commence.
Me too.
And
Me too.
this series, I mean, I wish there was a 3-test series, because you would have had a better gauge of both teams and where they are at the moment. But India want to win. India want to win this series so badly. But I can say the same thing about SA as well. SA want to win this badly as well, because I think they want to prove a point in the sense that they've got this proud record in home conditions against India. They want to obviously keep that intact, and they'll fight tooth and nail to make sure that record is intact. But I mean, why is it also a big series? I mean, Dean Elgar, I mean, he's been a great servant for the Proteas in red ball cricket, and this is his last series, and I'm sure he wants to go out on a high. So this is a massive series. But I mean, getting back to India, I would say this is probably their best opportunity, because if you look at the last series, there were a couple big players that were missing, the likes of Rohit, the likes of Kohli was there, but I think he wasn't there for the second test, which India probably messed up badly there. Jadeja as well. Jadeja as well. I think that Indian top six looks a lot more solid at the moment with Gill and Rohit up front. I think last time around they had the likes of KL and Agarwal. I think that was probably like a kind of like a makeshift opening partition. But I think this Indian batting lineup looks a lot more settled now. It's a massive challenge. It's going to be a massive challenge for both teams. I mean, SA with regards to their bowling attack, I mean, there's still a few question marks around. I mean, Nokia is ruled out definitely. And then you've got KG that's obviously a question mark against him in terms of his fitness. Hopefully he does get there, because I mean, he's such a strong competitor, bro. I mean, it's really important to have him in this test lineup. And then Gidi as well. Gidi is a really good test bowler, especially in home conditions. So so I mean, Marco Jansen is obviously going to be important, right? Adding again with a new ball as well. I do hope. Gerald Coetzee as well. Gerald Coetzee. I do hope there's another guy that really impressed me in this ODI series for the Proteas was Nandre Burger.
He's there in
the Cape Town Quick. From Western Province. I thought he had a fantastic series. I mean, first series. I'm sure as a debutant, the nerves would have been there. But I mean, he really bowled. He really bowled well. I mean, there wasn't much nerves that was going around. He seems like he's really taken to international cricket, just like how Dzozi has. He looks comfortable at this level, which is very good to see, and it's very good to have this kind of competition. So it's a massive series, It's a massive series. I think also a guy like Markram has a lot to prove as well. I mean, coming back into the test lineup, he did score a few runs against the West Indies, but I mean, with all due respect, I mean, you're going to play a much tougher opposition now than what you did against the West Indies. So, Bavuma. I mean, Bavuma's got a point to prove as well. I mean, we all know Bavuma is such a fine player, especially in red ball cricket. I think it was really important for him to score that essentially in the last series against the Windies, because I mean, the gap between his first test century and his next test century was 7 years. So hopefully, this is of things to come, better things to come from him, and obviously be more consistent in this format. So I mean, if I look at this lineup, I mean, Dzozi as well. Dzozi is obviously in the test lineup as well. It's a massive series. I think it's really going to be evenly contested, Sid. I mean, it's so difficult to pick a winner at the moment. It's so difficult. This could easily be 1-1. Could easily be 1-1 or 2-0 to SA. I mean, you just never know. But I'm knowing India. I mean, I would say this is their best opportunity, because they're banking a lot on this a lot. Because I mean, if you look at the players that they've left behind, in the white ball series, their major focus was this red ball series, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say this is probably their best opportunity. But I mean, dare you write off the Proteas in home conditions?
Yeah. I
You know,
did that last time, and I was looking very stylish the last
yeah,
time, and I looked very indeed.
they've yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
they've got a proud record against India in home conditions. So,
yeah.
as I say, they want to keep that intact.
I think I remember Keegan was a bit of an irritant for them the last time. Keegan played very well against India the last time, and he's even in the squad, which means that India has a lot of headaches with this guy, Keegan Peterson. He played very well in his first series, I think. Keegan Peterson.
And obviously Elgar as well. Elgar gave them a bit of headaches as well. I mean, some of the meetings were so gutsy from him as well. So, and I mean, Marco Janssen was. I mean, that was a breakthrough series for Janssen. I mean, he arrived on the international circuit in that series. So, I mean, it was a massive series for SA. I mean, for them to beat India. I mean, with all the problems that was going on in SA cricket at that time, was a great achievement.
Yeah.
It was a great achievement. I mean, a lot of pundits were writing off SA in that series.
Yeah.
Saying that, I mean, this is India's best chance. There's no reason why India can't, come away with a series win. I mean, the Proteas were literally written off, Sid. And I mean, and obviously getting beaten quite handsomely in that first test at Centurion. The shoulders would have dropped.
First one.
The shoulders would have dropped. Would have dropped. But I mean, India complicated things a lot in that second game. But I just feel it's going to be an evenly contested series, Sid. Evenly contested. I would say on the balance of play at the moment, and India is such a fantastic test team as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this is 1-1. But I mean, if SA could win this 2-0, this would be some achievement, Sid.
Yeah.
And I think India would rue to regret that.
Yeah, you don't say.
I think if India were to lose this series 2-0, it would be a disaster for them. It would really be a disaster for them. So I'll go 1-1. I'll go 1-1 at the moment.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, man. Okay. I also concur with you regarding the scoreline 1-1, but I also think it's gonna be. I bet you if India can win the first one, then I think they'll probably try and draw the second, because them trying to win the second is gonna be impossible. They'll probably, I bet you, win the series 1-0.
The one thing it's very interesting what you're saying, but I mean, SA pitches are so spicy. I mean, if you look at pitches all around the world, I'd say SA's pitches are the most spiciest in terms of getting a result. So you don't get a lot of draws in SA. I mean, you either lose or you win. That's the way I see it, because there's so much of a system for the seam bowlers as well. So I would be amazed. I would be amazed if we could get a drawn test match in these two. Yeah. I think both teams would be eager to win. I'm gonna go out to win. So I'll stay on my 1-1. But I mean, if India could win the series, this would be historic for them as well. It really would. It really would. Put to bed those demons that they had in the last series. So let's see what happens. Very interesting times.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the next one. Australia at the end predictably beating Pakistan by a massive 360 run. Man, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, completely outplayed. But I mean, what really disappointed me from Pakistan in this series was their approach with the bat. I thought they were so slow in that first innings. That I mean, batting at literally 2 runs to the over, and not putting enough pressure on this Australian bowling lineup. I mean, there was some good partnerships, but there wasn't anyone that really kicked on and scored a big one, because I felt if they were 100 runs deficit, they probably would have stayed longer in this test match. But I mean, the way they capitulated in that fourth innings was kind of disappointing, considering the way that they played. And I was a bit surprised by the way Shan Maksud, the captain, gave his press conference after the test match, saying that when you come to Australia, I mean, you look at progress, and for us to bat 100 overs against Australia was progress. I really can't concur with that. I think that's a really poor assessment of where your team should be, because I think any team, any international team that plays each other, their main objective is to go out and win a test match. And if they lose, they've got to go down fighting. And I didn't see enough fight from Pakistan in this test match. I mean, if you look at their bowling attack is quite inexperienced as well. I mean, if you look at, I would say Shaheen, okay, he's the most experienced. Then you've got, I'm just kind of get that guy. Shazad is the new guy. And someone else as well. If you can just just get that team sheet for me. Shazad was quite good in that second innings. I thought he bowled some good lines. But I mean, overall, Pakistan were completely outplayed. And I think a lack of a good spinner as well has really hampered them as well. You know?
Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, man, I couldn't put it in. I can't say anything more about that. That was pretty much a funeral at the end. So, if you look at the next test match, I think it's true, man. Pakistan cricket is kind of like a funeral, especially when it comes against Australia and Australia. I think the second test match is, I'm trying to think now, when's the next one going to be now? I can't remember now.
It's going to be at the MCG.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. That's been
obviously the Boxing Day test match at the MCG.
Yeah. Like South Africa, and I'm predicting another Australian win. Unless Pakistan miraculously have bowled the ball very fast and accurately, then I think there's hope. But I think it's another win for Australia, unfortunately.
I mean, considering how Australia played at the MCG in the last 2 years, I mean, after losing to India in 2020, I mean, they were so dominant against England and they were so dominant against, SA last year. So I can't see any other way. I think Pakistan's best opportunity is probably in Sydney, because the Sydney is a lot more slower and would probably, I think Sydney is kind of a little bit more in the subcontinent conditions as such, because it's, I mean, the pitch is a lot slower, it offers turn. I think Pakistan would enjoy that kind of surface, but at Melbourne, no chance. I can't see them. I can't see them actually winning in Melbourne, unless the pitch is a real kind of a road that we've seen in previous Melbourne tests. But it has been quite spicy in the last couple of years. I mean, since the Indian defeat, I know the one in the Ashes was quite spicy, especially in that second innings. England getting settled out for 60 odd, and then even last year as well. I thought there was a lot of movement on that pitch at the Chiefs. So I mean, there's any kind of movement. I mean, you expect the Australian bowlers to exploit that, and Pakistan are going to be in serious trouble. I think the senior players need to step up. I don't think we saw a best of Babar in the last test match. I think he's got to play a big hand in that Melbourne test. If he can get a big score there, I think Pakistan can compete. The other selection that's very puzzling me is the inclusion of Sarfaraz as a wicketkeeper batsman.
Okay. I
feel he's been out of his depth in this format, Sid, and I can't understand why Rizwan is not in this team. It's probably an injury.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I mean, Rizwan is a lot more dynamic as a player, and I think he bats well, especially with Babar.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Sarfaraz has not, not come to grips with the Australian surfaces. And yeah, I mean, it was a capitulation. It was an absolute capitulation. And I mean, facing Mitchell Starc in the fourth innings of any test match down under is really a handful. So I think if they can win the toss, I think bat first. I think it's very important to bat first at Melbourne and get a score on the board. If they can get 300 plus, I think they can stay in the game. I think they can compete, because it gives their bowlers something. But if Australia bat first and post over 450, I mean, you kind of literally see game over.
Okay. All right. Honestly, that series is looking like a funeral India and Australia Pakistan. So I want to move on to the next segment. Okay, West Indies and England. I'm happy to see the West Indies are back to continuing winning ways. 3-2. What were your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, it was a fantastic series here. I mean, for run scoring. Look, I think England's issue was probably their bowling. They didn't have the best bowling attack, in those conditions. But I mean, the Windies. I mean, you gotta give it to them. I think looking at the World Cup next year, they probably earmarked as one of the favorites. I mean, they power hitting. It's been something to behold, and I mean, you've got hitters coming, all right down the order. So it's always good to see the Windies perform well, and especially T20 cricket. That is probably their bread and butter, eh? And yeah, it's going to be an exciting World Cup, eh? It was a very important series for the Windies. I mean, to get that confidence back. And in World Cup time, you really can't write them off as well, because I mean, you can't. Yeah. You know what they're going to bring in white ball cricket. And I mean, the last World Cup, winning that World Cup as well, staring down the barrel after that defeat to Ireland. But I mean, coming back to win that T20 World Cup was superb. But you know what? I feel it's going to be quite an open World Cup. There's quite a few teams that can actually win it. I mean, you've got the likes of Windies, you've got England, you've got India, Australia, Pakistan. You can't write them off in T20 cricket. The Proteas will be there or thereabouts. So, yeah, quite an open World Cup, eh? It's going to be quite an open World Cup.
Yeah, man, but I don't want to sound discriminatory, but I'm tired of England and Australia. So I want to cancel those two out.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice for someone else to win it,
Enough of them. Enough of the... Yeah. Whether it's India, whether it's Africa, whether it's your favorite Pakistan, any of those three.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the last two tournaments, it's either been won by Australia or England. So, I mean, you've got a good point there. So, it's we kind of need the game to move forward now, and the only way it can move forward is if we get more winners. So let's see what happens. But yeah, in my opinion, it's going to be quite an open World Cup.
Yeah, of course. So it's been that way with T20. That's what makes it exciting. So we got the last one, New Zealand. This one's 2-1 to New Zealand predictably. Well, I didn't expect it to be 2-1. I thought they were winning by 3-0, but I guess New Zealand were probably sleeping today, and Bangladesh beat them quite badly today by 9 wickets. But was quite a bit of 209 balls remaining. That's quite a nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously yesterday, it was kind of around midnight, and I did watch a bit of that innings. Probably the first 10 over, but I mean, and I saw the scoreboard. I mean, I just wiped my eyes to check if I was reading right. But I mean, 98 all out. That was a fantastic achievement from Bangladesh. I mean, to bowl New Zealand for 98 in their home condition was amazing. What an achievement. I thought Bangladesh competed quite well in the series, to be honest with you. The second game, they posted 290. I mean, there was some good innings from New Zealand to get them over the line there. And the first game, obviously, it was overs reduced because of rain.
Yeah.
Bangladesh competed so well in the series. I mean, you couldn't say that they embarrassed themselves at any stage in the series in terms of their performances. So, I mean, winning yesterday was probably due and I think long overdue because they've been threatening for a while now to win in New Zealand, and finally they've done it. So, very happy for them, and they've shown that they can win away from home as well, which is good to see.
Yeah. Playing the T20 as well. He's only playing 3 T20s, so I'm pretty much New Zealand to win. If I'm actually bullish, I'll probably go 3-0, but I'll be conservative and go 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, it could be an exciting series again, like the ODI series. But I mean, those grounds in New Zealand are really small. So I mean, they really do make for very exciting, high-scoring affairs. So I wouldn't be surprised if the series is a bit high-scoring. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Bangladesh can win one game there.
Okay, but
yeah,
they also go.
But I think overall I'd probably give New Zealand, make them obviously favorites to win the series as a whole. But wouldn't be surprised if Bangladesh win again.
Yeah. Okay, on the final note, before I leave, I just want to give kudos to the Indian females for beating England in a test match. I think that was a couple for 1 week ago or two, and then it looks like they're giving the Australians a run for their money. So hopefully they can beat the two powerhouses, and that'll be good for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did watch a bit of that first test that they played against England. I mean, they were brilliant. They were brilliant with the ball. I mean, England were completely outplayed, and I think that the rate of scoring from India in that first innings was superb. I think they were going at over 4 and over, which is fantastic. I mean, so yeah, brilliant test win for Team India's ladies, and yeah, I mean, if they can pull this off against the best team in the world, Australia, I think that would be a great achievement as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and day 3, Australia have a lead of 46, so it's going on to day 4. So now I think Australia, they can lead of over 200. That could be quite interesting for India to chase. So I guess it's getting quite tantalizing. That's how I look at it as.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how many wickets are they down at the moment?
Oh, 5 wickets, Australia.
5 wickets. I mean, yeah, I mean, 46. So essentially they are 46 for 5. So yeah, I mean, if you can get 200 on that wicket, it's going to be difficult. I mean, because you've got the tailenders coming in next, and I mean the Indian spinners are fantastic, especially Sharma. I think she's a great bowler. Yeah, I mean a great all-round talent. I've been really impressed with her. I was so impressed with her in that England Test match as well. So she's going to be a threat as well. So yeah, I mean, I think anything under 200, India would fancy their chances of chasing down.
Okay, so any final words before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to say, to everybody, Merry Christmas, and hope you guys have a festive season, a great festive season. Stay safe, and enjoy yourselves.
Likewise, man. Peace.
Cheers, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care. Cheers.